No One Rides for Free. I got that record in music class my junior year of high school. A friend of mine, Fu Manchu, practiced in his garage, and they were older than us, but I thought it was insane, and I used to try to play along with it, and which later on served pretty well when they needed a guitar player because I already knew all that stuff, so that's cool. Daredevil, I didn't get Daredevil until right when I was trying out with the band, but I do have to say that Trapeze Freak is probably one of the coolest riffs I've ever heard, and a lot of those fuzz tones on there are just ridiculous. It's pretty hard to emulate that record, but it's crazy. I like that one a lot. That's pretty overlooked too. I mean, everyone talks about it in Search. I think Daredevil is pretty awesome. Trapeze Freak, when I learned that, when I was trying out for the band, I learned Trapeze Freak. I'm like, this is the coolest riff ever. I'm going to be so stoked to play this on stage, you know? In Search Of is just like the heaviest low-end Fu Manchu record there is, you know? On our new record, we would try to compare the two when we were mastering to be like, okay, it's got to have low end and just bogged down kind of Fu Manchu sound. But, another thing about that, a friend of mine who gave me the No One Rides record in music class, the guy who sat next to us, his name was Joe, and he owns the black car on the cover. So it's like all these twisted little things, you know, and, you know, Fu Manchu's older than us, but for some reason, you know, they practiced at this guy's house, they borrowed this guy's car for the record. Pretty funny. Action Is Go. I mean, that's the most important one for me because that was my first one, and like I said, going in, I was a fan to begin with, so I was just ecstatic. And 19 years old, I mean, just fresh out of high school, just rosy cheeks, like, what am I doing? And you know, getting Jay Younger to produce it, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go hang out with the guy from White Zombie and record with Fu Manchu. And we got the drummer from Caius. Like, this is retarded. So that was a really cool moment, and it was a lot of fun making that record. And even as green as I was back then, being 19 years old, I still knew when we recorded, I'm like, this record's pretty awesome. Like, there's something, because I just listened to it nonstop, you know, and it never really got old, so I knew it was a cool one. And then King of the Road. That one was a lot of fun to make too. We recorded that out in the desert with Joe Barisi, who mixed Action Is Go and has since done Queens of Stone Age and Tool and all kinds of stuff. That one was really, I hate to use the term organic, but it all came together. Like, we went in the studio with like 7 songs and not even really thinking about like, well, we gotta have this many songs. So while we were in there, King of the Road just happened, that song. We didn't even have it going in. We're just sitting by the pool one day and like, oh, here's a riff. Let's go try and record it. What was the other song? No Shoes, No Shirt, No Dice came together quickly. We were just watching Fast Times at Ridgemont High and just writing down stupid one-liners for lyrics and stuff. And so yeah, that one was. You could tell it's gonna be a good record when it easily just comes together. You know, it was nothing was forced. You know, everything was just like, here you go. Eaton Dust. I think that was before King of the Road, wasn't it? You know, it's funny because we recorded that at the same place we did King of the Road. So I think we were trying out the studio first. Hey, let's put together some stuff, throw it out on Man's Ruin to keep people occupied and entertained while we're making a full-length release. But yeah, that was like 2 days of just going in there and just playing for 2 days and then done, mixing everything. So we just try to do it as quickly as possible, and the end result is what you hear. It's just pretty aggro, you know. Even the drums are fuzzy almost. It sounds really low budget. And I remember playing it for my neighbor. I was living in San Diego, and he didn't really know much about music. He's just like, oh, let me hear, you know, what you guys did. And he's like, it sounds terrible. He's like, I don't know, it sounds broken, kind of. And I'm like, well, that's the point, dude. Like, go back and listen to whatever the crap you listen to. It's fine. And California Crossing was the record where we had the most money behind us to go into pre-production for 2 weeks, rent this huge studio, which was like bigger than anywhere we've recorded, to just sit there and record our album, to go home and listen to it, to go into a bigger studio to record it again. And I mean, it was cool. That it was good to have someone Matt Hyde, the guy who produced it, he really got involved in songwriting with us. So it was almost like school. Like you had a blackboard and it was like part 1, part 2, and like, you know, it was like all written out and it was really organized. But yeah, I mean, I think at that time, like we kind of needed to do something like that just to test those waters, and that's our biggest selling record ever. So it's like, it might have been because of how much money was behind it. I know I like playing a lot of those songs live, so. And then Start the Machine. That one, I don't even think we made it over here on that record. We toured the States like twice, and it was just a really shaky kind of label that we were on, and we were supposed to we were supposed to open for Danzig, and we needed like $2,000, which is, tour support is pretty unheard of. I mean, that's small. And they were like, nah, it's not a good tour. So we're like, all right, we're out of here. We're just gonna start writing a new record, which is a lot of kind of segueing into We Must Obey. That's a lot of that tension came from just sitting around, finding a new label, getting pissed that we missed the Danzig tour, you know, all this shit. And they were doing Misfits songs on that Danzig tour, so I was really pissed off that we missed that. So then we go do We Must Obey. Shit, where did we record that? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, we recorded We Must Obey. We went back to the same studio where we did In Search of and Action Is Go, which is Grandmaster, and really just kind of wanted to, you know, bring back the fuzz and make it sound as raw as possible. A lot of that on that record is pretty angry, you know, as far as Fu Manchu goes, and a lot of that's a result of the dealing with the label and stuff from the prior record. And then this newest one, Signs of Infinite Power, it's got a little bit of that same element, but there's also, you know, some pretty slowed down, heavier songs on there too. You know, like the title track is a slow one. Gargantuan March isn't really too fast. So on this one, we just wanted to just have like amp, fuzz pedal, guitar, all sit in a room and play. Whereas We Must Obey, we were messing around with like combining different amps and doing stuff like that. And this one is just like, let's just get in there and 3 takes, keep the best one and move on. So, and that's what you get. I mean, it seems like playing this music for years and years would get kind of tedious and stuff, but I mean, this place in Malmö here, I've been coming here since I was 19 years old playing, and it's like, it's night and day how much more I know now than I knew that, you know what I mean? Like, it's weird, like you take simple rock music and most people look at it like, oh, it's simple and just disregard it, but you could really dissect it and like, there's a lot of different stuff to, you know, before you know a lot of what you're doing, you know? I mean, I look back on like Action Is Go and stuff. That's a great record, but there's a lot of stuff guitar-wise I would have done differently. Now it's like, you know, but I was 19, I'm 32 now, so everyone changes, I guess. It's always, like, the one I listen to the most is the newest one, just because it's the newest one that I'm not used to. But, I mean, I'm not going to go home from a month-long Fu Manchu tour and just throw on Action Is Go and put on headphones and be like, ah, you know. It never really happens. But, you know, when that stuff's on shuffle and it comes through, I'm stoked. I'll listen, you know, I'll still listen to it. But like I said, I mean, Daredevil's awesome, man. I don't know. It's pretty, I'll be stoked to come back over here and play that one. You know, that'd be cool.